and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the Moines County Board of Supervisors meeting, December the 2nd, 2025. Are there any changes to the agenda? I have none. Okay. We shall move on, meet the department heads and elected officials. Sarah Doty, County Auditor.
Good morning. It's budget season, so we're in full force with that. Just keeping busy, nothing really to report at this time.
Okay, thank you very much. Brandon, how's the IT department?
Keep them busy, nothing new to report.
Okay, thank you. Sheriff Glendenning?
Good morning. Had the Danville City Council meeting last night, and we got that law enforcement agreement set up for fiscal year 27. Have the other ones on the agendas for the other contract towns. So working through that process and the other budget areas as well, so those should be coming through. Toys for Tots this weekend. Come out and see everybody. We'll be at the Hy-Vee Agency starting at noon on Friday till 7, and then 7 a.m. on Saturday until noon. So come out and see us, and this is also sign-up week at the Rock House, so if you're in need, then get signed up. Stop over there and you can sign up in person. The jail this morning was at 87, 17 out of county, but we have at least 5 going to prison tomorrow, and 5 plus, depending on how the paperwork shows up today, but 5 plus on the wait list for the residential facility. And that wait's unfortunately just getting long again. But the prison's been really good. We get on the list, and usually within a week we can get a few up there.
Good. You're not staying all night on Friday night like they normally do a lot of times, huh?
No, I haven't done, we usually just lock everything up, and I think there's a couple people, the Marines, they stay out there. We lock everything up, and we shut down at 7, then we do shopping on Friday night with a lot of the money that's raised, so that's always fun. I always say I bring my experts with me, who are my daughters, to help me pick out the right stuff. So we do the shopping on Friday, and then we do shopping again Saturday, and make sure there's enough of everything. And they do really good, the organizers, to have the list of everybody that signed up, what's needed, and then they do the distribution the week after, which I think is the 13th, that Saturday after. So they run a really good program.
Thank you, Sheriff. Yeah. Brooke, how's your department running?
Good. Good morning. Nothing really new to report, just keeping busy, starting to work on budget stuff, so.
You got an important job taking care of the veterans.
Thank you.
I appreciate everything you do for them.
Thank you.
Krista Miller, Public Health.
Good morning. We're also keeping busy. We're in the middle of our daycare audits as far as checking immunizations, making sure everything's good there. I want to thank Ronnie and his team for doing a great job of keeping our driveway and our parking lot clean. I know he was there over the weekend. I saw him there, so appreciate all that they've done for us. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you very much. Rodney, how's the maintenance department?
Good morning. Been busy the last 3 days, so I want to thank my guys, whole department, for coming in on Saturday. It was a wet, heavy snow, so Saturday was kind of rough. Cleaned up again on Sunday, and then another full day yesterday, and then early this morning. So just want to thank my guys. They do a really good job, and I expect a lot out of them sometimes. So they put up with me, but I appreciate all they do. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is that Chris? Yeah. Chris, how's the conservation?
Good. Moving snow.
Moving snow.
Kind of consuming life. Giving kudos to my guys for coming in on weekend and early morning hours and stuff, and moving snow around. So other than that, just kind of working on budget.
Okay, thank you. Jared, how's the regional planning?
Well, we're keeping busy as usual in terms of the county land use. We have one item on the agenda today, another minor subdivision out for review, and probably I expect one more within the next week or two. But apart from that, just keep them busy as usual.
Okay, thank you. Trent, how's the attorney's office?
Again, we've had everybody that last week had a good Thanksgiving. This week's pretty crazy, like he's talking about, a lot of moving parts this week. Yesterday, both courtrooms were slammed. We have 5 juries lined up today, or 5 trials lined up for the jury today. So that's, you guys have guys, yesterday it was Coulter and everybody.
They're moving people.
They're moving a lot of people, so it's busy, but that's good.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Carter, on secondary roads, and thank you for getting the roads cleared this morning so I could get here.
Well, thanks to the guys. No, I'll follow the theme of snow. It's part of our job, so that's the way it goes. But I do appreciate the guys working all weekend, and yeah, the blade guys probably had the most frustration. It was a really wet, heavy snow, and then we got to do a lot of it all over again on Sunday after the wind got done blowing and drifting. So if you were up in the flats, you had a little different take on how it drifted compared to if you were in the trees or in town or something. But it moved a lot of snow around overnight, I'll tell you that. So we had a couple roads that were partially plugged the next morning. So anyway, it was a full weekend. Again, appreciate the guys, and kept equipment moving. I think we had 1 truck go down, so we jumped in the spare and kept on moving. And we'll get all that figured out. They're back out, of course, today. Out yesterday afternoon. So those first snows, the worst thing you can get, I think, is a big, heavy, wet snow right off the bat, because everybody gets frustrated about it being in their driveway. That's been probably the number 1 complaint, followed closely by mailboxes. So I'll just remind that with mailboxes, I'll start with that if we physically hit it, we'll replace the mailbox. But if it wasn't good enough to handle the snow coming off the plow and it knocked over, which was all but 1 of every call we had, we will not replace that mailbox. So that's typically especially that first wet, heavy snow. That's when you find the mailboxes that couldn't stand up to that much snow, and especially on the paved roads. So, because those trucks are moving faster than motor graders. So anyway, that and then the snow in the driveway thing, I'm sure I echo every governmental entity in the state of Iowa at the moment. It is never convenient for any of us to have snow in our driveway, but it does happen to a fair number of people, and that's not gonna change. In our county and most other counties, if you have any concerns about drifting, are going to do their best to try to take that snow to the south side on the gravel roads, or to the east side if at all possible. It's not 100%, but that's our preference. And if you live on the south side or the east side, you're probably going to have some snow to deal with. So that's, like I said, been a frequent conversation in the last day or two. So not everybody loves the answer, but we're consistent with it and let people know that. So I will be putting an agreement on the agenda with the DOT. I told you guys about this a couple weeks ago. I want to say they are on the cusp of being ready to transfer the old sections of Highway 61 immediately north of Burlington. So in that 11 miles they already have done. But they don't want to rush the tail end of what they're doing. And I have to say what they're doing is a little more complicated. Normally when you do, so we pushed really hard. I shouldn't say we, but I pushed hard when they were doing this 4-lane project of not taking any more ground than they needed. There were some stretches north of town where they could have moved further west, and we encouraged them. In fact, at one point, it's been quite a while, but they actually bumped the road back over and used as much as they could of the original alignment. What that does, that creates, they've got to go, it's not as simple as just taking a road and quit claiming it then, because they now have an old road and a new road butting up against each other. So they're creating some new legal descriptions for the right of way. So they're on the tail end of that, so they're hoping to do that in the next month or two. But to buy themselves some time, they asked if they could do a snow agreement with us to pay us to remove the snow for the winter on those roads. To be honest with you, we were planning on doing it already because we thought this transfer was happening during the summer. So we were already set up for it, had it planned on it. So I'm gonna run an agreement through you guys. I wanna say somewhere in the vicinity of 20,000. So I look at it as we were already figuring on doing it anyway. They just got behind. So that's, I guess, 20,000 we can bring in and utilize on county roads somewhere else when we were already planning on it. So that'll run through you guys here shortly. We plowed those roads this weekend. We'll just keep doing it. And then a couple things about Mediapolis. I've been asked a couple times, and I think Jim Carey brought it up with me too, I think, about a sign showing, if you're northbound, there's no sign showing you that that's Mediapolis interchange.
Right.
Which I don't think is a problem for most people, but if you're, you know, a truck driver trying to find a delivery and your GPS isn't working, whatever it is, there needs to be a sign. I've been peppering them with questions for a while, them being the DOT. I sent an email yesterday and they said that their hope is to have a Mediapolis sign up yet this year, I guess is what I'm gonna say. Something happened and the post wasn't ordered right or something like that, so they're waiting for something to come in and then they're hoping their contractor can get it installed. So there's an update on that. Straight from the source as best as I can get it. So no guarantees, but hopefully there's a Mediapolis sign coming. Eventually I'll run a speed limit resolution for you guys. I'm gonna be gone part of this week, so it'll probably be another week, and that's for what we've talked about in Mediapolis there. We don't have the signs in yet anyway, so when that's all said and done, Mediapolis is already in the process. They have to change their ordinance, so it's a little bit longer of a process for them. So if you hear anything about that, that's what's going on Mediapolis. That'll be for Mediapolis Road. And then just a reminder, even though I know it was sent out as a press release, I believe it's tomorrow, they are going and switching that intersection in Mediapolis, so it'd be Old Highway 61 and Mediapolis Road to a four-way stop. The reason for that is it gives, it's still a DOT road. The old highway is still a DOT road. They're hoping to transfer that this summer. We'll see if that happens or not. But DOT policy is that before Mediapolis can make a final decision and request any significant stop sign changes in that location, and one of the things I know they're discussing is the possibility of allowing east-west traffic to flow through town rather than stop at that location, which I think is probably the future of that spot, one way or the other. They have to go to a four-way stop for a period of time before it could even be possible to switch to a different flow of traffic. So you're gonna see a four-way stop up there. My guess is you'll see it up there through the winter time. I don't think you'll see, I mean, ultimately that's between the DOT and Mediapolis, but Mediapolis has been reaching out to me for some input on stuff up there lately, as obviously we butt up against them like we do a lot of small communities, so figure things out and work with them. So just anyway, tomorrow that's gonna switch to a four-way, which will be a first time in a forever type change. I mean, that's never been that way, but that's what's going on there, and that is because of DOT policy. That's why that's happening. So, and I'll mention that we did send out a bid package for Pleasant Grove Road paving project for next summer. That went out last week. Bids won't be till January, but we like to get, especially with the holidays, we like to get that into the contractor's hands for them to have a chance to take a look. On that topic, the next phase for the DOT paving, which would be the phase north of the interchange, is being bid in December in this month. So we'll find out who gets that. I don't know when the date is. In the next couple weeks, the DOT will get that. So that's coming up on that. And then I'm still working with Kevin and Rodney. I appreciate some of their time. When we had nicer weather, we got together and tried to make sure we're all on the same page on the parking lot project. So it's been shuffled a little bit with everything else going on, but we're still working towards that. Probably looking at another January bid if I had to guess, early February, something like that. But we are in the process of that. I think we're in the home stretch. Can't speak for Rodney and Kevin, but I think we're in the home stretch now. It's really more in our hands now. We gotta spend some time putting paperwork together for a little bit. So, and I think that's everything, unless you guys have any questions.
That four-way stop in Mediapolis?
Yeah.
I wish they'd had that here a couple weeks ago when I took a bunch of kids over to the ball game.
Yeah.
Traffic was backed up clear back to where they get off, coming into
Oh,
Mediapolis.
yes, I've heard about that, that sometimes it'll back up
It
that
backed
far.
up quite a little bit of ways there.
So it's, I'm only gonna call it my opinion. I think the four-way stop will help that a little bit. I don't think it will completely remedy that issue. That's why I think the long-term solution will probably be allowing through traffic to flow through Mediapolis, so you don't have that backup. Obviously, there's still side traffic on Old Highway 61. I think the worst of the side traffic that would then, of course, stop in that situation is probably when, I'm gonna call it Hawkeye, it's not Hawkeye anymore. But when the business there south, on the south edge of town lets out in the afternoon, that's when I'm guessing there'll be a queue of traffic backing up for the most part. Otherwise, I think the north-south traffic will be able to fill in the gaps and move adequately is my guess. So that's, again, not our decision. That's in the city of Mediapolis. But for the time being, it will be a four-way stop, and maybe they like how that works, and maybe it stays that way.
I think the full of traffic coming off of Yarmouth Road, just going right straight on is the best solution.
Yeah, and that's very possibly what'll happen. Well, time will tell. That'll all sort itself out. So, but yeah, that is coming. That'll be a big change. People will, especially at north-south, I expect a little bit of a learning curve for all of us that have always just gone through there. So, but anyway, that's what's going on. Plenty of stuff going on.
Thanks, Brian. Did I miss anybody? I don't believe I did, so. We shall move on to the discussion and vote. Mr. McCampbell, I see you're there listening. We can't hear you. Good. We have accounts payable claim in the amount of $650,429.95.
Motion.
You second?
Or did he move? Second.
You both did at the same time.
Second.
Oh, okay. Sarah?
Shane McCampbell, Tom Broker,
Yes.
Jim Carey.
Yes. Okay, now we have an agreement with Eastern Iowa Workforce Development Area. And
Second.
Sarah?
Shane McCampbell, Tom Broker,
Yes.
Jim Carey.
Yes. We'll let you date this. Today's date, Sarah? Now we have a resolution 2025-059 for a preliminary plat for Memorial Park Meadows subdivision. Jared?
Well, I sent you guys a staff report here, just for some background. This one, it's gone through a public hearing with the County Zoning Commission, but that was a couple of months ago. It is within 2 miles of the city of Burlington, so that's been going through their process here over the past month or so. So this is it's a preliminary plat, so it's a larger 6-lot subdivision just north of Burlington on Memorial Park Road. And as a preliminary plat, this is the general design, and if approved by the board, the next step would be to have the developer submit roadway design plans for review, and then prior to installation, and then that road would need to be built and inspected before the final plat, once it's actually surveyed, and that would come to the board at a later date. So as designed, this basically be 5 lots that would surround a cul-de-sac, and then a 6th lot that would be adjoining that to the west, that would be access from 115th Avenue. This is basically a redevelopment of an old par 3 golf course. It was a sundown golf course that has not been operational for many years. There's also a multifamily development, several apartment buildings to the north that were developed mostly in the 1990s. So that part of the property that's currently being redeveloped or renovated, that will be retained by the subdivider, plus some additional land to the south where the wastewater system is located. And these lots here would be sold for new home development. There is a separate apartment building on one of the lots, lot 4, that would either be renovated or completely rebuilt for single family. It's no longer occupied. As I said, the zoning commission had a public hearing on this back in October. There were some neighboring landowners that had some concerns about drainage and the existing wastewater system for those apartments. I think there's a history there.
Well, and those apartments, I believe, are they the same one where we just had the,
Yep.
okay. So,
They apparently didn't get that, I'm assuming they did not get that grant.
I never heard anything.
Chris, they did not, okay.
I saw a release and I didn't see them listed on it.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
okay.
Well, in any case, we had a good discussion there with the developer, get some information there about the existing drainage patterns and basically how new development could impact that area. So essentially there were some concerns about that septic system possibly needing to be replaced, but the developer has indicated that they do retain a significant, I think it's at least 1.5 acres, up to 2 acres of land that is south of the apartments that would be plenty of land in case that system would need to be replaced. So ultimately, the commission did recommend approval of this preliminary plat with the condition that the developer must submit a roadway maintenance agreement prior to the final plat, just so there's typically that's in the form of restrictive covenants, but just some sort of acknowledgement of what that arrangement would be to ensure that there's something in place for how that road would be maintained long term. And as I said earlier, this did go through review by the city of Burlington. Ultimately, it's my understanding that this was just approved by council yesterday. Their zoning commission had specifically recommended that they enforce some roadway surfacing standards that would be higher than what the county's minimum requirement is. Basically, it's all related to the surface width of the road would be several feet wider, and then the cul-de-sac bulb itself would be 20 feet greater in diameter. And then it would also need to be paved, since it was initially proposed as crushed stone. So ultimately, that would be the city, since it's within 2 miles, the city can enforce that requirement. But ultimately, that none of that would be in conflict with what's presented on the plat, since that would all fit just fine within the platted 66-foot right-of-way with a 100-foot wide bulb for the cul-de-sac. So ultimately, it would just be, we would coordinate with the city on making sure, once those design plans are submitted, that it satisfies the minimum requirements of both city and county. So ultimately, the preliminary plat as submitted meets all the county's minimum requirements. So we'd recommend approval with the condition about the roadway maintenance.
From remember playing that golf course. Motion to approve.
Sarah?
Tom Brooker,
Yes.
Shane McCampbell, Jim Carrey.
Yes. Yeah, Tom, I remember playing that too. We got this. Let's change that. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, no. Put anything close to me, I'm gonna grab it. You know how I am.
Over there. Go ahead and move.
Oh. Did I pick up your agenda?
I think you
I very
picked up
possibly did.
Huh?
I think you picked up both of them in the last one.
Picked up both of them.
Oh, yes, I
There
did.
we go, I picked both of them up.
I warned you. It's on you.
Now we're back on schedule here. I'll give this back to you, Tom. We got the minutes for the last meeting. On November the 25th, 2025.
I'll abstain.
Tom abstains, second. Sarah?
Shane McCampbell, Jim Carrey.
Yes. There we are. There we go. Okay. Is there any other business?
I have none.
I have none. Future agenda items? Did anybody call in for future agenda items?
I haven't had anything requested.
Okay. I got back, I think you're hopeful to be ready for the ordinance review in a week.
You think you're ready?
You'll find out by the time you send out the agenda, we can have
Okay,
that
next
task.
week possibly.
But other than that, I don't have any future agenda items.
Okay. Committee reports. I had none.
I had none.
Okay, thank you. Okay, time for public input. And we'll give you 2 minutes to speak. Say whatever you have. And, anybody out there that wants to call in, it's 319-753-8203, extension 4, or email board@dmcounty.com. Meanwhile, anybody in the audience have anything to say, we'll give you 2 minutes to say it. Yes, back there.
Jeff Fisher, Pleasant Grove Township. I wrote some stuff up here to read off. You guys have a copy also.
Okay,
I'm writing to express my concerns regarding the current setback regulations for wind turbines, particularly as they affect non-participating property owners. The existing standard of 1,800 feet from a dwelling or turbine height plus 10% from boundary line does not provide adequate protection for our families, livestock, or property from potential hazards such as flying debris. Additionally, these setbacks significantly restrict where I can build on my own land, limiting my property rights under current regulations. To ensure safety and fairness, I strongly propose a minimum setback of 5,280 feet from all property boundary lines for non-participating landowners. This distance would better protect homes, ag operations, and future development plans. I also urge that cemeteries receive the same consideration with a 5,280-foot setback applied to preserve the dignity and sanctity of these sites. Another concern is accountability for cleanup on properties that have not signed agreements. Oversight should rest with the Land Use Administration in coordination with the landowner rather than the CWECS. Finally, setback measurements should be precise and transparent, using aerial photography with vague tolerances, such as 1 foot or 100 feet is unacceptable. Clear, accurate standards must be established to avoid disputes and ensure fairness. Thank you for considering these points. Fair and consistent setback rules are essential to protect property rights and maintain community trust as renewable energy projects expand in our county. It is your job as supervisors to protect the public health, safety, and community welfare of all residents of Des Moines County. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Charles Tompkinson, South Yarmouth. This is not a
Charlie,
good
we're
time to
give them
be
2 minutes.
I drove a long way for 2 minutes. Okay, anyway, this is not a good time to be a supervisor. I mean, you're gonna get whacked from both sides. I understand that. But I have a solution for your way out. I also, if you're gonna make a decision on the conservation, you should get to it. Investigate Irwin, Baerwald. And she's the one that has.
I apologize, Charlie, you're gonna have to spell that again and slower for me.
Erwin, Baerwald. She's a doctor from the University of California, and she has, the bat's lungs are busting. So I want you to take that into your factor. The next thing is that we come up and, Tom, you said a little piece of debris won't hurt you. Well, it will. The leading killer of people in a tornado is debris. So your little piece will kill people. That's enough said on that. Time's going. Now what I want to do is give everybody a solution for both sides, and I think I have a solution here. I talked about 400 feet is where we have all the data of what's happened on windmills. And now we come up with a 400-foot windmill, which are those setbacks we're setting at 1,800 feet. And you said 3 turbine heights. That's almost childish. I mean, a kid might come up with that. You're gonna go up 250 feet more, and you're only going 150 foot back. It has to be directly proportional, and AES can't come after you if you use this formula here. 400 is directly proportional to 800 feet back, and that's what all the data was for these 400. There's nothing for 650 footers. 650 directly proportional is 2,925 feet. So keep that in mind. And another thing, on Thanksgiving, I have to be up at the top of the, above the hospital over there, and I looked at the bridge. And now that bridge, I can't find anything to look at. No, I want you guys, when you come out, I want you to, at the bottom of the steps, I want you to look at that bridge. That's 300 feet. Now you're gonna go 300 feet more with that, and then you're gonna go another silo on top of that. And it's scary. When I looked at it from up there with that night with the light on it, and I was 1,800 feet away. That scared me.
Okay,
I want you to go into the library. It's only about 1,550 feet here at the steps. If you go to the library, it's close to 1,900. Go to the entrance of the library and look at that bridge, and in your mind, put something on top of it, and that's what you're gonna put at my house, his house, and you think it's gonna be okay. And if you do my formula, AES can't touch you. They cannot touch you.
Thanks,
Because you
Carter.
use the same formula
Thank you.
with the 29.25.
Anybody else have anything to say? Hearing nobody else, motion to adjourn.
Second, aye.
Aye. We are adjourned, thank you.
It's not even 10 o'clock.